Hey, I'm making this video. It's gonna be controversial. Calling out the vegan police, the type who think that they're purists, kind of like you have the fundamentalist religious people. Calling out the Pope. You have fundamentalist, purist vegans who think that they're pure, which they're not. So it's gonna be a question of how vegan are we actually. We can discuss that, and now discuss, more importantly, activism. So first off, some people have criticized me in the past, and other people, because they have a donut every once in a while. I have a donut every few months, not ashamed. Do 1,000 times more good with my volunteering and donating on a regular basis. The vegan police, I think they do more damage than good. Nobody is 100% vegan. Whether you have a non-vegan cat, you're valuing one animal over another, you're being a speciesist. Probably shouldn't have a pet that's not can't be vegan, or else it should be survival of the fittest. Should have a rabbit, or a hamster or something then, or a dog, which can more easily be vegetarian or vegan. Are you a vegan if you have a cat? You're valuing one life over another. Are you vegan if you have a prescription drug and tabs or gel cabs? Are you vegan then if you use diet cheese, which is made of palm oil? Palm oil, some say, is destructive to gorillas' environment or whatever, or something like that. So then you're not a vegan if you use vegan palm cheese, or vegan cheese such as palm that has palm oil in it, or vegan butter with palm oil in it. Some sugars that have bone char in them or whatever. So if you use certain sugars and you don't check every time, then with every new product that you might buy, whether you're eating out on the road or whatever, then you're not a vegan according to some of these extremists. So we can discuss every single ingredient. I don't care to go there. I say do your best. If you have a donut every once in a while, try to make up for it then. Do some volunteering for a day, which I think does 1,000 times more good. So they were trying to guilt me and stuff, calling all sorts of names at least, which obviously they know nothing about psychology and how it turns people off. But anyway, so I'm worried that they're doing more harm than good when they're talking to the general public, or screaming at them in most cases. So maybe the less they do is the better solution. But remember, these are the small minority. So my question first is, how vegan? And we can digest every ingredient that maybe a new company started testing, and you might not be up to date on it, then you're not vegan. Look, I don't care if I'm part of the vegan club. I'll take off my sweatshirt. I have a vegetarian shirt on then. So, if it's not good enough for the vegan club, that's cool. Don't care. I call myself 95% vegan, or not vegan 95% of the time. They might be 96%. But they called me a fraud, and I said, yeah, it's a little bit hypocritical of a donut once in a while, but I don't care. They're like, how could you be so selfish to not care? I said, yeah. And they call me all sorts of names. I do more than 99% of the world. I have 99.9999%. How could you do that? You're horrible. You're awful. Then meanwhile, I see them sharing like Pam Anderson's stuff, Morrissey's, Paul McCartney's, and stuff. And I'm like, wait, they're not 100% vegan. They say they're vegetarians, and they know better. So should we be ragging on them too? No, they've done thousands of times more good than most of us, donating millions of dollars and spreading awareness. I have no right to criticize them even politely. Maybe I get polite nudge to go vegan on social media or whatever. But though you have some extremists who are overly emotional, they're probably just emo, that are screaming, hooting and hollering. They don't know how to vent in a productive way, like activism, real outreach. So they ganged up on me and were calling me all sorts of silly names because I was on a TV show, the NBC Today Show, and I went to Good Morning America in New York City because I live here. We went to the Good Morning America show, me and my wife, and I was on Access Hollywood Live when they came to New York a few times for a long time with a vegan shirt. So someone spammed it and said, oh, he's a fraud, he eats donuts. So the message turned from promoting, like going on TV shows for New Yorkers, which no one does except me and the people meat eaters I pay from Craigslist to go, which is complete embarrassment to us that I have to do that. And they think that's weird. Well, why don't they actually help and do it? So me getting a plug on TV, they were more concerned about my donuts, which is pretty pathetic. That's how petty these people are. They focus on the tiny, minuscule thing versus the big picture getting on TV for millions of people. So my point is, they said I'm selfish and I should feel horrible about it, which I don't. And I'm an awful person, a hypocrite, I'm a fraud. Copied like the definition of a fraud and Snapshot, or Wikipedia or whatever. I'm like, people are so immature and pathetic. I tried to turn the conversation to doing activism then, and I said we can have the discussion about how vegan and every ingredient after we have the activism discussion, because most of them, obviously, if they're willing to waste an hours talking, criticizing me about a couple donuts, they're probably not real activists for the most part. I'd feel 1,000 times more guilty not going out and volunteering for a day in Times Square than on a Saturday during the summer with the signs such as this for 8 hours. I usually stand out there from about 3 p.m. to about midnight. Feel much more guilty if I decide to stay home and watch TV shows or movies with my wife, or go out to eat at a nice fancy vegan restaurant and be a pure vegan, then I feel way more guilty about doing that and not doing this than eating a dozen donuts in one sitting. Call me not a vegan, that's fine. Call me a vegetarian, I don't care. But so I have a few donuts a year. Maybe on average 1 every 3 months. But I'm a fraud, a hypocrite according to the vegan police. So don't worry about what they say. I'm more concerned about most people not volunteering and doing something productive. You can leaflet your local colleges. And I'm more bite than bark. I've leafleted over 200 schools, high schools and colleges across many states, all as a volunteer. Never got paid $1 to do anything ever. 200 schools, many of them repeatedly every year in the Houston area, Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, near the border, well south, across. I took a 3-week vacation leafleting colleges in Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida, 3 weeks long, living out of a car to volunteer to do this, and I probably ate a granola bar that wasn't vegan on the road. So, do I care? No, I don't give a crap. I gave out 30,000 booklets, probably got I talk about eating less meat, so I'm not a fraud because I promote anything from less meat to vegan. Doesn't mean I'm either of them, but not that I care. If it's not good enough for their club, but I probably created hundreds. I educated tens of thousands just in that 1 3-week span. And probably about 2% went vegetarian. A few will eventually go vegan, or some probably went vegan and then went right back to eating meat, like it was holding their breath. That's why I promote eating less, especially the birds to start, and the fish. So I probably created hundreds of new vegetarians from that experience. And that was just one example, a snapshot. I mean, I've done pay-per-click ads that spent $20,000 one summer that no one would donate to. I think I got one donation, I think 1 or 2 for a total of about $100. But I spent $20,000 of my own money, and we got over 1 million views, 2 cents per click worldwide, scope of reach with the factory farm videos, and some athletes, some environmental message, some health message, different animal aspects, anything from fur to leather to Uggs to mostly animal products. So I got over 1 million views, thousands of going veg comments on that. They wouldn't donate towards that. So these people just criticize, they don't help none. They were ganging up, they like to gang up on you, like immature people, like you're the enemy, when you do more good than 99.9% of society. So while they're screaming at me, I said, why don't you scream at everyone that's coming to have a Dunkin' Donuts? Why don't you stand outside there? At least that might be more productive. Maybe not scream, but have a message like this. But they won't do that. They just want to vent their little silly frustrations when you're doing more good than 99.99% of the population. Their argument was, I know better. Well, so does everyone that walks by me, the thousands of people that walk by me a day in Times Square. I'm standing there for 8 hours. So does the over 200,000 I gave a booklet to at everything from Lakewood Church with Joel Osteen every Easter, Lent, and Christmas holiday season, to all the festivals, all the concerts, Warped Tour that I leafleted, and just all the events that I've done hundreds of times. The millions I've reached online with videos. So my point is, and having like 30 MySpace pages in the past that I auto-edit, about 300,000 friends, manually clicked before there were spam filters, 300 per page each day. On my days off, bought pages from popular people, paid popular people to post videos for us. Those are all possibilities, but no, we're not discussing all these activism opportunities. We're discussing an ingredient here or there, which is fine, but the focus should be first on activism. Since more animals are killed than ever in history, despite more vegans, more animals are killed because people switch to more smaller animals like chickens. Despite accounting for human overpopulation, more animals are killed than ever in history, but their focus is on petty bullshit. They're worried about the inch versus the thousands of miles we have to go, or the millimeter. I worry about the big picture. Sure, try to be the best vegan you can, but I'd rather have a poor vegan, I'd rather have a vegetarian or a meat eater activist than a freaking vegan slacktivist. So it all started, like I said, because someone posted a picture of me being on TV with a vegan shirt, and then it turned into this attack on me. Not that I really care. I think of it as an opportunity to expose them. Like I said, they need to be. Would they attack Paul McCartney, Pam Anderson, Morrissey? No, of course not. And what else have it done? Since I want to make the focus about activism, put up highway banners, hundreds of them across many states. When I was living in Houston to New York City area, I put up hundreds of highway signs, big PETA posters and stuff, backed by a foam board with a bungee cord. Put up many hundreds of these stickers along Broadway and Lexington, all across New York City. Ordered and paid for these on my own, custom designed on, I think, speedysigns.com or something, one of those sites. Custom designed, hundreds of these. So actually got arrested 3 times, so I had to start paying people to do it because of the 3 arrests. What other things could they do? The pay-per-view video ads, like they didn't support. I used to have to do rodeo protests alone in Houston many times, got assaulted. No one had my back, but these lazy bums are concerned about a freaking donut. So my point is, don't worry about the few extremists in the vegan club. I'll take this off too then, because maybe I'm not good enough for that. No, I'm joking. I don't eat any meat, just a hot dog, or not, just the vegan hot dogs and vegan chicken. Maybe they think that's wrong too because it represents what it represents. Who knows with some of these extremists? But remember, they're the small minority. Meanwhile, I'm so nice. I give out hundreds of these wristbands for free. But that's how they thank you when they don't help with anything. They just rant and rave because you have a donut or something. Just do your best. Like I said at the beginning, no one's 100% vegan. I'd rather have you do activism, leafleting colleges in your area, like for vegan outreach or something like that, than worry about every single ingredient or spending your time at vegan restaurants going out of your way to get that vegan donut or whatever that you crave. So get active. Check out veganoutreach.org, mercyforanimals.org, and ignore the vegan police and just do your best. But more importantly, we should be talking about activism versus every ingredient, or at least both.